Drinks with MJ and there's no drinks on the table. Hello! Hey! Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to On Point and Drinks with MJ. Ooh. I'm sorry I'm letting the side down. It's Drinks with MJ and there's no drink.
Oh, absolutely outrageous.
So, Merv, what is your full name?
My full name?
Yes.
Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Okay, my full name is Merv Jones Jr. There you go. Wow. That's my full name.
That is
full name. I get berated because my wife says his mother's Irish, from County Wicklow. His father was from Barbados, yet he's called Jones. Well, I'm so sorry for my slave name, but there we go. But yeah, that's that, you know.
And I want to know how you got into acting.
How I got into acting?
Yes.
It's via comedy, really. My interest in acting, actually, no, go even further back. It's my interest in film, first and foremost. I'm a lifelong film geek. Hence the T-shirt today, etc.
I actually watched that the other day.
Well, there you go.
For the first time, but that's another story. But
that's another, indeed. But you know, from the off, I started going to the cinema at a very, very, very early age. Right. My dad took me to see a film. Probably around about 3.
Wow.
But I do remember it happening. I'm going into that room, and it was a big cinema, and down in my hometown, and it was a huge screen, and it's all lights, camera, action, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't a kids' film either. It was it was Diamonds Are Forever, the James Bond movie.
Wow.
That also made me a lifelong James Bond fan, obviously. But
I actually watched GoldenEye for the first time this weekend,
quality.
and I loved it.
Fab.
Pierce is my favourite.
is my joint favourite.
Who's he tied
There
with?
is only one James Bond. Here's a clue. But anyway, and Sean, and he recently turned 90 as well. So happy birthday, Sean.
Yes, happy birthday.
But,
and was just from there.
But really from there, and plus a lifelong love of comedy. So and my first route into it was I would do voices and impressions of like cartoon characters or characters off the telly, you know. And I was
make the family laughing.
Yeah, or annoyed. You know, and do a little turn. And really from there onwards, it was just, I just wanted to do it, and just, because it's playing make-believe, and I was always into that, and adding voices to toys and things like that, and situations, and yeah, that was it really. I didn't do an awful lot at school though, in terms of performing, because I wasn't really interested in the sort of things that they wanted to do, in the same way that like local amateur dramatics and youth theatres and things like that, it was all kind of jazz hands and let's do something that's been done 1,000 times before, and let's all pretend to be we're famous, that kind of mindset, and it just did not interest me in the slightest until I got to 16, 17, and a new youth theatre opened up in my home, and I was the very first member, and it just seemed to be it was completely different sort of ethos. It was all about being creative, and I'm like.
Do you feel like where you were born and where you grew up in your hometown, did that influence your art in any way?
Yeah. I'm actually from a small town of St Albans. I've got to be very St Albans, just outside London, and I've got to be very, very careful here because I don't want to sound too disparaging to my hometown, but unfortunately, it's not an awful lot going on. There's not an awful lot going on in terms of if you want to develop and move on with your creativity. Your creativity, and it's a classic example of kind of looking over the fence, and we've got London there. You know, it's a bit like, and this is, you know, there's more going on in Birkenhead than there is in St Albans.
Right, okay.
You know, but I have friends, obviously, from the Wirral who will always say, well, they have to come to Liverpool in order to move on.
I think it's just the interest of what if and
well, but also it's the same sort of, I mean, it's like when I started doing the comedy circuit in the 80s and into the 90s. God, I'm old. And it's that sort of difference in audiences from, say, slap bang in the middle of London to maybe the home counties and the further north you get.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different set of people. It really is. It really is. I mean, and in terms of also supporting the arts, when I moved to Liverpool, I found that out very, very quickly. It was way more supportive of just being creative.
Yeah.
Not just like, right, come on, impress me, entertain me, come on. either make me laugh or you know, and that's an awful lot. You get that in say with the London sort of circuit, and you have to work 10 times harder.
And a lot of that disencourages people because you think that like, oh, I have to fit into a box or I have to be pigeonholed and what is talent and all that.
Absolutely.
And like I think we're very similar as creators because I like to think I can do all kinds of different things. And I don't like being pigeonholed. I don't just like being they're an actor, and you know it's looked down like they're an actor. I don't like that. I like to do it all.
It's such a broad scope. I mean, I've always said the same thing to like fellow actors, particularly. Is I always ask them do they write, and if they don't write, start writing. Because number one, it fuels your creativity.
Right.
Secondly, sitting by the phone waiting for it to ring, it's not going to ring.
No one's going to knock on your door.
You need to start making your own work. Yeah. I was heavily influenced, not necessarily by the style or anything, but more about the ethos, about people like the great actor and playwright Stephen Berkoff.
Yes.
And and that was literally he wasn't getting the work, so he decided to just like, you know, well, I know things have happened to me. I've seen things in my life. Let's write a story about it. And
I actually did a Sphinx monologue in college, and I loved it. But that was my favourite. That was my favourite lesson because I loved it, and it was so imaginative.
I'd like to see you do Berkoff's East, because I just want to hear you with a Cockney accent.
My husband loves me.
That was the cleanest part of the dialogue, by the way.
It really was.
He's a filthy man.
Do you think that motivated you, just having all these, all these life experience? Do you think that you actually went, no, I want to move, I want to do this, and I'm going to really go for it, and just not care what people think?
Well, the move was really more in part of I was just sick of living there.
Right.
I was there for 31 years. And then it was like, no, I got to get out of here. Got to get out of here, and that was it. And Liverpool, I actually have a lot of family connections to Liverpool. I had uncles and stuff, so I spent a lot of my childhood up here anyway. So that wasn't that great a kind of like voyage of discovery.
Yeah.
I did know the city to a degree, and the character of the city. Like I said, so there is Scouse blood in me, you know what I mean? So God help me. But,
do you know what? There's a connection. Someone's always got a connection to Liverpool.
I know.
If you're not far,
well, as they say, you get where water can't. You know.
You can live on planet Zoc, and there'd still be a connection to Liverpool in planet Zoc. What are you working on at the moment?
At
Mr.
the moment,
Jones?
well, we are currently as I was literally waiting to start it, I was actually finishing off a new sketch. We have the second volume of Grubby House Presents, which is a collaborative thing I've been doing with my friend, Colin Hives, who's the great Liverpool filmmaker. And we've been writing tons and tons and tons of work, as well as farming it out to other writers who want to contribute to it.
Yeah.
These are comedy albums full of sketches and silliness. I always tell people, embrace the silly.
Yeah.
Embrace the silly.
Definitely. And how did the lockdown affect your creative side, your creative veins?
It kind of really put the block on it a bit because with my other hat, I work an awful lot with adults with autism. So I actually worked primarily with them. We're continuing doing that work. So I've worked all the way through it.
Yeah.
What doesn't really appeal to me is, and you see it, and it's on the TV, it's everywhere, is this kind of lockdown sort of comedy, drama, every sort of thing ever. And you get actors sat there in their little boxes and this, that, and the other. And it's not really appealed to me. And it's more to the fact that I'm not experiencing that. Yeah. Family members are, but I haven't at all. And had I been furloughed or whatever, or been at home or whatever, then I probably would have changed my opinion on that. But it's just not really. But what it didn't do I'd say for the first 2 months, I didn't write anything. Because it was just too miserable to just
it just wasn't
there. It's just not.
Are you one of these people as well, Merv? Because I know I am when I'm creating or I'm coming up with ideas. I don't like to be in the house. I think if you're looking at the same four walls constantly, your motivation goes and your inspiration.
No, it can be for me. It can be anywhere.
You can write anywhere.
I can write anywhere. I can write anywhere. I don't.
So what is that then? Did you shut off? Did you see something else?
Yeah. It depends. I mean, sometimes I have an idea that's completely fully formed.
Right.
I'll say, right, okay. If I'm making a short film or something, sometimes the film is edited, complete, and locked in my head.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, right, how do I get that made?
Yeah.
How do I get it to look like it's in my head? Other times it can be a case of, I have a vague idea, an image maybe I want to see. Oh, no one's really come up with that before. Oh, flying fridges. What can I do with flying fridges? You know, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Merv, thank you so much, and on point.
Thank you
you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
And I wish you so much luck and best wishes with all your projects. And we're definitely going to play the waitress.
Yes.
When you said you can go from 0 to 1,000.
Yes, yes. Only thing with that one is, though, you will have access to sharp knives. And I'm going to be on the other end of it. So that's...
Get me on a good day. Merv, thank you so much.
I'll get a stunt neck.
Thank you here at On Point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And cheers.
Chin chin.
Clink clink.
Salute.
Yes.